If you've been dreaming about hiking in some of the most epic places in America, then this list is for you. Hey everybody, I'm Alice and I've spent years exploring our national parks and public lands, and I've gotten a lot of requests for more accessible single-day hikes. So in this video, I'm sharing 20 of the best day hikes in US national parks. Now, I've limited the mileage to about 12 miles with the exception of a few worth the push, and all of these offer unique landscapes, incredible vistas, and fantastic wildlife. So let's get into the list. I've organized this video into regions, so we'll be starting in the western parks, first up with Glacier National Park. Now, I couldn't pick just one trail in this park, so there are a few. First up is the Highline Trail, which is one of the most sought-after trails in the entire park. It's 11.6 miles, but it's mostly flat and follows a ridgeline above the Going to the Sun Road. The views are absolutely unreal. Alpine flowers, wildlife, even glaciers. This is the quintessential glacier hike. You can see mountain goats and even grizzly bears along this hike. Another one in this park is the Grinnell Glacier. At 10.3 miles or 7.2 if you take the boat across the lake, this trail leads to one of the most scenic glacier views in the US. And when I did it last time, I saw moose, mountain goats, and even a bear on this trail. Avalanche Lake is the easier option in Glacier National Park. It's just 4.5 miles round trip, and it's the perfect short hike through a forest to a beautiful lake backed by waterfalls. You're surely going to love any trails that you do in Glacier National Park, but I would definitely add these three to your list. Next up is Zion National Park. Now, the Narrows is one of the most famous hikes in the country, and yes, you'll be walking in the river if you do it. You will be among the towering canyon walls as they rise above you as you hike upstream through the Virgin River. Now, you can go out and back as far as you'd like, but prepare to get wet and always check for flash flood warnings. And if you want a thrill, it's also possible to do the Narrows as a multi-day trek starting at the top and actually coming down, but you will need a permit for this. If you really want a thrill in Zion National Park, you can head on over to Angel's Landing, which is 5.5 miles of narrow ledges and exposed chains. It now requires a permit, and it's certainly not for everyone. I did this hike a few years back and actually turned around just shy of the top because I wasn't exactly feeling my best balanced self. There's a lot of other hikes that you can do in this area as well if you're not up for the death-defying views that you'll have along this one. But if you are up for it, the views from the top of Zion Canyon are absolutely worth it. Moving to another Utah national park, we have Delicate Arch in Arches National Park, which is a classic. It's a 3-mile hike that leads to the iconic arch. I went for sunrise last time, and it is absolutely magical when the lighting is just right. The hike up to the arch is actually uphill, so make sure you pack extra water and avoid this during the middle of the day when the sun is at its peak. And now we're moving over to Washington State for one of my all-time favorite hikes, Cascade Pass in the Sahale Arm in North Cascades National Park. It's definitely one of my personal favorites. It's 12 miles and it has alpine meadows, glaciers, and views that just don't stop. This is a really steep trail, and it's also incredibly long if you decide to hike all the way to the glacier, where you can also spend the night if you want to have some of the most epic campsite views you'll ever see. There's an alpine lake along the way that you can swim in as well, and you'll definitely want to pack a lot of snacks for this one. The Skyline Loop Trail in Mount Rainier National Park is another essential day hike that you will absolutely love. This 5.5-mile loop starts at Paradise and climbs up to Panorama Point, where on a clear day you can see Mount Hood, Mount Adams, and even Mount St. Helens. Now, if you go midsummer, you will have spectacular wildflowers along this hike as you're looking up to Mount Rainier. There are also some waterfalls along the way, and it wouldn't be surprising if you caught some mountain goats or other wildlife either. And in Crater Lake, Oregon, you can hop on the Cleetwood Cove Trail, which is short but steep. It's the only trail to the shore of the deepest lake in the US, Crater Lake, which is nearly 2,000 feet deep. Now, you can actually swim in the lake in the summertime, which is fantastic, but Note that this year, 2025, is the last year you will be able to take this trail down to the lake and swim because it will be closed for construction from 2026 to 2029. In Alaska, you won't want to miss the Harding Icefield Trail in Kenai Fjords National Park. It's a strenuous 8.2-mile hike that brings you to the edge of one of the largest ice fields in North America. Along the way, you'll get epic views of Exit Glacier, and you might even spot some mountain goats. And in Washington's Olympic National Park, I love the Hoh River Trail. It's a peaceful rainforest hike. You can go as far as you want. You can do 10 miles round trip, which will get you up to 5 Mile Island, but even shorter versions let you soak in the moss-draped trees and even the serenity of old-growth forest. You can also do this as a backpacking trip, hiking all the way up to the Glacier or Mount Olympus and back. Spending time in nature is such a great habit to have. But do you ever find yourself reaching for a bad habit, whether that's out of boredom, stress, or just needing to do something with your hands if you're a fidgeter? Well, that's where today's video sponsor, Fume, comes in with a great alternative to doing any of those things. Fume can help you create better habits, and it is not a vape, although it might look like one. This is actually an award-winning flavored air device. It's got no nicotine, no vapor, no smoke, and no harmful chemicals. It's just natural plant-based flavors you draw through your mouth. The mint is super nice, like breathing in a breath mint. Now, it's designed for people looking to change their habits or manage oral fixation and fidgeting. The magnetic fidget features, they're super satisfying. The feel is sleek, premium, and built to last. Fume gives you something to reach for that's actually good for you. There's no batteries, there's no smoke, and there's no restrictions. You can use it anytime, anywhere. Over 500,000 people have already added Fume to their habit-changing journey. So if you or a friend or family member might have a bad habit that they're looking to kick, this is a great gift for yourself or for them. And if you order the Journey Pack using code AliceFord, you'll get a free Fume topper, a fun accessory that levels up the experience. Grab it now by visiting tryfume.com/AliceFord or scanning this QR code on screen to get started. We're moving over to the Rockies and the Southwest. In Grand Canyon National Park, two trails dominate the day hike scene. Bright Angel Trail, which takes you 9.2 miles round trip to Indian Garden, where you descend through millions of years of rock layers. But remember, it's twice as hard coming back because you went down first and now you're going back up. The South Kaibab Trail is steeper and more exposed, but the views, especially at sunrise, are next level. And for either of these hikes, you will want to start very, very early in the morning and also avoid doing these trails in the peak summer season when the temperatures are extremely high. You can hike to Ooh-Ah Point or Skeleton Point and back for a solid day hike. I know I'll get some flack for not having the Grand Canyon rim to rim on this list, but at 25 miles, it's a bit long for this list of day hikes. Over in Rocky Mountain National Park, you won't want to miss Sky Pond. This is a 9.5-mile trail that takes you to alpine lakes, waterfalls, and a scramble up Timberline Falls. The views at Sky Pond are spectacular. This is definitely one of the best hikes in the entire park. But if you want something quieter, you can head on over to Thunder Lake, which is another great alpine destination. It's longer at about 11.6 miles round trip, but you'll pass rivers, waterfalls, and end at a stunning high mountain lake. Another hike in Rocky Mountain National Park is Long's Peak. Now, this is one of the most challenging and iconic 14ers at 14,259 feet tall. The trail ascends steeply into the alpine zone on this 13.3-mile trail, and make no mistake, this hike is challenging and not for new hikers. The trail rises past streams and through the forest before leaving the trees behind and entering a rocky zone prone to summer thunderstorms. Most doing the trail start in the wee hours of the morning, but you can also camp at the boulder fields by obtaining a permit. I did this a few years back and had an absolutely unforgettable but challenging experience. The trail then goes through a thin rock formation called the Keyhole, taking you onto the backside of the mountain and then up loose scree before walking a narrow ledge and making the last way up an almost sheer vertical face. If you can make it to the top, it's spectacular, but it's certainly not for the faint of heart. In Yosemite, there's no shortage of bucket list hikes. I've been to this park many times and I've hiked, backpacked, and explored. Half Dome may be the most famous rock face in the park, but if you don't want to climb it, I recommend climbing Sentinel Dome and Taft Point for a 5-mile loop. You'll get views of the Yosemite Valley, Half Dome, and El Capitan with hardly any crowds. And if you do want to do Half Dome, know that it's a very long day, 16 miles. You will need a permit and the ability to start early in the morning before the sun comes up. It's tough, but standing on top of that summit feels like standing on top of the world. And if you want to see more about Yosemite, you can check out some of the other videos on my channel where I backpacked and climbed Half Dome, which is linked down below as well. Now out east, we've got Acadia National Park in Maine, and there you'll want to try the Precipice Trail. It's short, it's only 1.8 miles, but you're climbing up iron rungs and ladders on a sheer rock face that looks over the ocean. It's more of a vertical adventure than a hike, but the views over the Maine coastline are worth every step, as long as you're not too afraid of heights. Now, this trail is not suitable for small children or anyone that has difficulty with ladders, so make sure you know that when you're planning. And in the Smoky Mountains, you'll want to summit Mount LeConte via the Alum Cave Trail. It's one of the best long day hikes in the East. I've done it a few times and it never gets old. It's 11 miles round trip and it has bluffs, forest, and sweeping views from the summit. You'll pass rivers and waterfalls and walk through little caves as well, and you're sure to see a ton of wildlife. Now, you can do this trail in summer or winter. If you're going to do it in the winter, you will need micro spikes and obviously some warm clothes. If you plan ahead, you can even stay overnight in the rustic lodge up at the top during summer. Okay, there we have it, 20 of the best day hikes in U.S. national parks, from glaciers to alpine meadows, from rainforest to desert. This list proves that you don't have to go far off into the backcountry to have a beautiful and epic adventure in a national park. And if I missed your favorite hike, definitely drop a comment and let me know what it is. Also, let me know which of these hikes you're adding to your list, or if you've already done them, also drop that down in the comments. Special shout out to Fume for helping sponsor today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you need more national park tips, trip guides, itineraries, or inspiration for your next trip, whether that's a national park or an epic adventure anywhere around the world, definitely check out my blog. You can check out some of my links at these QR codes for gear and for some of the other things that I recommend, either signing up for my newsletter or hopping on over to Patreon. I will see you guys in the next adventure. As always, I'm Alice Ford. Never stop exploring.